Okay, I am not sure if the sound is going to be good on this or not, but I'll do my best. I just watched a video about life after death, and I thought I would put in my 2 cents worth. I have my own thoughts on life after death, and they're pretty much, it's based on my own internal sense of self and feelings and things like that. It also takes into account the science that I've read about what happens, how your brain functions, what your brain does not do, how it reacts under certain stresses and certain reactions that it has. And I've seen science programs on Nova, PBS, and stuff like that about what happens when your brain shuts down. And there are 2 things that I think that really contribute, help build my hypothesis about what happens. And one is something about your brain stem. Apparently there are a bunch of nerve endings at the very end of your brain, or where it goes into your brain, I guess, from the spinal column. And that part of your brain has all these nerve endings or whatever. And when you die, apparently all of these nerve endings fire their signals all at once. It's been a long time since I saw this, so that may not be exactly how it is, but I have the understanding that these all fire off at once, and it's like this huge flash of light, if you will, this tunnel type experience. And so I think that's the explanation for everybody that has near-death experiences talks about a tunnel with a light shining at the end. And I really believe that that's what it is. That tunnel, that light effect, is the nerve endings, this bundle of nerves at the end of your brain or wherever it's located. It's all those nerve endings firing off. And of course, because we're all human beings, at least the ones reporting the near-death experiences are. I don't remember any cats or dogs reporting them. But since we're all biologically the same, it would make sense that we would, generally speaking, have the same sort of activity happen when we die. So all of these near-death experiences have this light at the end of the tunnel. A lot of them do, most of them do. I don't know what the number is, but it's relatively common. That's a sort of an intrinsic part of the near-death experience, and I think that's what causes it. So I do believe that probably does happen. That is an experience that you get. Another thing that the brain does is, I know this even less for a fact. I don't remember where I saw it, heard it, read it. But apparently the brain cells, when they actually die in your body, in your brain, when the cells actually die, they give off some sort of chemical, or it's like a sugar, it's a component of sugar, or it's a glucose. I think glucose is what it is, which is a sugar. So the brain explodes, each cell explodes with this glucose, which is like this massive dose of high, this super high from sugar, a sugar rush. And so your brain, as its last going away present, gives you this fantastic super rush. I mean, it makes sense to me. So I don't think that the real point at which death occurs, not leading up to it, etc., but I think the actual point of death, I think is probably an absolutely wonderful, fantastic, blissful, happy experience. In fact, I'm sure if any of you have taken drugs, hallucinogens and that type of thing, I think that's probably what it really is like at the end. It is this massively wonderful drug experience from the glucose. So I don't think the actual instant of death is anything to fear at all. I think it's going to be a wonderful experience, and I think we all are entitled to that. The other part, though, that I think about what actually occurs when you die, or what's going to occur with me, is that the other thing is when your brain shuts, when you're, the brain is the last thing to go, is what I've heard before. If you have a natural death, that the brain itself takes a couple hours to completely die, for everything in it to die. Once again, it's been a long time since I've read this. I'd have to look it up to confirm. But if that's true, if the brain is in fact the last thing to die, what that means is that all other parts of your body have shut down. So the brain itself has no external input anymore. All it has is its own internal workings. There's nothing external coming in. And if you're the type of person who dreams a lot, you can understand the concept that when you're dreaming, there really is no sense of time. Inside of our brains, if we're cut off from all of the external input, we don't have a sense of time. Time doesn't pass. It's like eternal. It passes in the real world, of course, and our bodies are in the real world. But the mind itself, when it's cut off from the external world, has no ability to recognize time. Once again, it's personal opinion. If that's true, then whatever you experience after the brain has lost its external inputs, but prior to the actual moment of death, the event of death, during that period, your brain will still be active. You'll still have the underlying trying to make sense of everything, and then all it's trying to make sense of it is of its own internal structure, its memories, etc. With this, during this period, though, there's no sense of time. So, in effect, it's an eternity. So, what you've got, what you find yourself in, is a situation where, for all practical purposes, as far as you are concerned, it is eternity. There is no end. You will not experience an end to it. There is no end. Anything and everything can happen inside of your brain. If you're a vivid, lucid dreamer like I am, then you understand how real, lifelike, how easy it is for our minds to make things real and lifelike inside. So I think what happens when you die is that whatever you believe is going to happen, whatever you believe happens after you die, if you believe in an afterlife, if you believe in heaven and hell, then that's what you're going to experience, because your mind will be able to take all of this, do whatever it wants with it. And if you believe that you're going to go to God, your Sky Daddy in the sky, or Big Daddy in the sky, that's what you will experience. Doesn't mean it's true, but that's what you'll experience. So each and every one of us is in fact going to get exactly what we want after we die. If we want an afterlife, that's what we'll have. And as far as our mind is concerned, it will be an eternity. If you don't believe in the Sky Daddy, then you'll have some other sort of existence. But I think it's really important to understand that that is our final shot. That is what we get. So it's very important to be sure that what you wish for is what you want. Because if you really think that you're going to go to hell if you masturbated when you were 10 years old, and then you die, and that is the primary focus in your mind, then for that eternity you're going to spend it in hell because you masturbated at 10 years old. So I think we all should be wise enough to be very careful what we choose as our beliefs, because whatever we choose, that's what we're going to get. Peace out.